So I think at one point we had like about 70 kids total.
Wow.
And we gave them, I think we had like maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7 different small groups. We had the drama team. We had the worship team. We had the cooking class, which I always enjoyed what they brought me for cooking.
Yeah.
We had the sports team. We had, I don't remember. But then we had Mr. Rich what was your class called? What was your small group called?
I don't remember.
I don't either. But it was like they made stuff.
Yeah.
And one time, all the kids there, he had like 7 or 8 kids at a table, and they're making little robots. And the kids are just loving it. And Mr. Rich was such an encouragement to them. He'd just walk around and help everybody, figure out what they needed to do. And he was always an encouragement to them. And he always, a coach, like helping them figure out what to do. And that was fine. But then one year, he had one student. And that was the student that had a hard time seeing. I don't think he could see. He could hear, right?
Yeah, he could hear.
He could hear it fine, but he couldn't see.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit delayed in his development. Yeah. But Mr. Rich took such care. And a few years ago, I got a note from his mom and said, "Hey, do you remember my son? And he was in your thing on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings." And he had one teacher that really took him under his wing. And I was like, that was Mr. Rich. And he had become a worship leader in a church full of kids just like him. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And it was such a testimony of Mr. Rich and his love for these kids and being David to them, caring for the sheep, no matter what age, no matter what their handicap was, no matter where they were in their development, didn't matter. It was all because the love that God showed Mr. Rich. And I so appreciate that about you, buddy.
I'm going to say this. Until you've seen a 6-year-old cry at a car as Dad drives away, and you remember that feeling, and you say, "Here's these little ones that have these feelings." Go back to that and say, "Hey, there's a God who loves you, who's done all for you." That wasn't just a growing time for that young fella. It was a growing time for me. I did a lot of growing because it was one-on-one. It was one-on-one. So as it one in me, and as it one in the Lord, I did some asking for Him to help me to grow. I have a favorite saying. I have 2 girls, and this is a favorite saying. It says, "God doesn't make junk. He never has. He never will. We're made in His image."
That's right.
And He says, "Let us make man in our image." He made us in His image, and until we have Him come into our life to make His image real, we're wasting our time.
Right.
We're wasting our time. Ask Him. Let His image come into your life. And there's only one way. We know it. Jesus.
That's
So
right.
when he looks down from the cross, he'll see Richard as a little kid, and he'll see Richard as a middle-sized kid, and he'll see Richard at 70 plus years old. I know that he has been there time and again. And that little fella, I'm glad that I had that chance because I did a lot of growing. We all grow.
Well, God was preparing you for that episode, man. The whole time. It's so awesome to see. Just like David was being prepared to be a giant slayer by watching the sheep and protecting them, but he also was being prepared to be a king and to lead people well. And most people say that King David was the best king the people of God ever had. So I know one day I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk to him in heaven. That's gonna be a long line though.